Like most moms raising 3 kids, Ashley has very little time for herself. She's got a college education, works full-time as an online teacher, and also homeschools her daughters. For the most part, she does this all by herself.
Oh, I mean, it's difficult. I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's not.
Ashley's a single mom. Her oldest daughters are 14 and 10, but her youngest came along just a couple of years ago. So Ashley turned to Catholic Charities Pregnancy Help Center, where she attends classes to improve her parenting skills. And in the process, she earns baby bucks that can be used at the Pregnancy Help Center store.
You start raising older children, you have children in their teens and in upper grades in middle school, and you're like, oh my goodness, I don't even know how to be a mom to a baby anymore.
Ashley's the type that, yes, she needed the baby bucks, she needed the baby items, but she's also the type that wants to just be the best parent possible.
As a single parent, like I said, funds are limited, and to come in here and to be able to have good quality, things that you're earning is an added bonus.
Being a single mom with 3 young daughters, working and teaching, and squeezing by on a very modest budget can be stressful. The family's had other setbacks, but Catholic Charities of East Tennessee has always been there.
Poor Sherry. She hurt a lot, and just to have that measure of comfort for me was what got me through to the next week a lot of times.
You really get to know them because you see the same client every week, even if you're a volunteer. I have some clients who call their mentor the grandma.
It's just been a blessing. We've had a lot of obstacles the past 2.5 years with moves, and we lost a house to different things, flood and fire and all this, and Sherry's been like a great mentor and advocate through the process, and it's just been a blessing for our family.
This might look like a quiet afternoon at Samaritan Place in Knoxville, but don't let that fool you. In just 4 months as a resident here, Deborah Newar has fit in perfectly.
Well, I know Linda Slaughter, I know Sandra, I know Deborah Carr, Jimmy Campbell, Robert, David. I know a lot of people here.
Deborah's ability to make friends quick comes naturally, but spending time at Samaritan Place, a shelter for homeless senior citizens, wasn't on her radar.
Well, I was living in Sweetwater and got evicted, Sweetwater, Tennessee. And I've been here since August the 2nd. Hopefully before 6 months I want to be in my own place. I've always worked. I worked since I was 9 years old. I counted candy for my uncle in a candy store. There was 250 pieces of bazooka bubble gum in one box, so I had to count every piece. But I've always worked. I've been a nurse's aide. I was an RN student. I was a clerk at CVS Pharmacy in Cleveland. That's when I got my knees done because I got MRSA in my knees and I had to spend 3.5 years in NHC in Chattanooga.
Deborah clearly has the motivation to get back on her feet, and thanks to Samaritan Place, she soon expects to move into her own apartment. Samaritan Place offers emergency shelter, transitional housing, and in some cases provides a permanent place of residence for those who can't transition out on their own.
There's a stigma attached to homelessness, there's a stigma attached to the elderly population. So really we want to just create an atmosphere here where those really don't exist. When they come in off the streets, they're usually, maybe they just have the clothes off their back. They don't have any kind of toiletries or any clothing or anything like that. So it's really important for them to rest and get referrals and linked to the appropriate places that they need to get back on their feet and to live independently.
Thanks to recent generous donations, Samaritan Place has converted old office space into rooms for 12 more residents, a 40% increase over their previous level of service. And with the weather turning cold, the expansion came at just the right time.
We had no time to waste with filling the beds. We had a lengthy waiting list, and several of those people on the waiting list were sleeping really places that were not habitable for humans. They were outside, they were in tents, they were under the bridge. So really creating those beds was vital to get those people in here and off the streets.
They give you confidence to rebuild yourself. You have to rebuild yourself before you can take care of anybody but yourself, you know. You got to take care of yourself first. I really enjoy it here. See? Debbie.
Thanks to Catholic Charities' Office of Immigrant Services, Menser and Deanna Ramick now live a peaceful life in East Tennessee. But 25 years ago, both lived through a civil war that engulfed their Bosnian homeland.
Most everybody that was there while I left is here in the United States. Because during the war, our city got ravaged and everybody, at one point we were all refugees.
I was 12 years old and I didn't understand the war. You know, wherever they go, I was going with my mom.
Deanna's mom is a central character in their story. Menser moved to the U.S. 22 years ago. On a trip back to see his family in Bosnia, he met Deanna. They were married and moved back to the U.S. together. That was 9 years ago.
We have a little boy. He's terminally ill. He got diagnosed in 8 months. He was 8 months old. He got diagnosed with mitochondrial disorder, Leig's disease. There's no cure for that. There's nothing. Nobody can help us with that.
It's really rare.
Yes.
They're very strong people. They have fought through their son's illness, but they've stayed in very good spirits. There was a time when Deanna was thinking maybe she had taken too much time off of work, and that she was risking losing her job.
The Ramicks were in urgent need of help. Both had jobs, but the care 3-year-old Darius needed was specialized and critical. Deanna's mom had been traveling to the U.S. on a visitor's visa, but the visa had limitations. There was no guarantee immigration officials would grant her continued access to see and to care for her grandson.
Part of care is obviously having a nurse or a caretaker, but the other part is emotional. He was very comfortable with his grandmother being there.
With her mom's visa issues up in the air, Deanna and Menser turned to Senator Bob Corker's office for help. The senator's staff was willing to expedite the process, but asked Catholic Charities of East Tennessee to lead the effort. Something that normally takes 2 to 3 years took just 4 months.
I was able to then, yes, contact Menser and Deanna to tell them that the visa's approved, you can go pick it up, and you can fly to the United States with your mom.
She's here and I can work. I can go on my job, and now I know my little boy, he's with my mom, and she know how to take care of him. We
have like a peace of mind. We know.
Yes,
she's trained from the birth. She was with us, and she knows how to take care of him.
Well, they're obviously, very excited and very thankful. So it was great to actually hear them say, hey, she's in the United States, everything went through, everything is done. I can't stop advocating until that person is legally admitted into the United States and has their green card in their hand.